Get some thumbs
It's
up. You guys feeling,
Friday.
is everybody here from Texas or is just around the country?
No, this is around the country.
Nice.
We do this every Friday morning. It's all production. We all just jump in. We usually share our wins. All right, we should be live. And it's gonna be fun. So I'm gonna give you, all right, you have sharing capabilities. Hey guys, if you can put on cameras, I know some of you are driving. I know some of y'all aren't camera ready in your own mind, but if you can put on cameras, it's so much easier. All right, you've got control, my friend.
Okay, so this is all the way at the end. Let's go to the beginning. Can you guys see this good?
I can pinch in. It's not in can you put it in presentation mode?
It's in presentation mode. Can you guys see it okay or no?
I'm
No?
showing presentation on mine. Is it seeing, is
It
it for
does,
y'all?
it's not presentation mode.
All right, hold on, guys. Let me go ahead and stop this share real quick. You want to set it up for me real quick? Give me a second, Elizabeth. My partner here is going to help me set this up on presentation mode.
By the way, good morning, everybody. I love that you guys all showed up. Happy Friday. I didn't even get to that part. We just started talking about Brad being in Cabo and we're all jealous.
PDF. All right, we're almost there, guys. 1 second.
You're good.
There's always some sort of technical difficulty with these Zooms.
Technology works great when it's great when it works, right?
Can you guys see it?
We can see it, but it's not showing in presentation mode. Click, see, we can see that it looks like you need to click present on the bottom, or that's what I see anyway.
Yeah, because on my end, it's already in that presentation, but I'm trying to figure out how to, let's just do this, Rich. Let's go ahead and put this on,
Just do it on the screen. It's fine. I think it's fine.
on
Y'all
the
can see it
PDF, yeah.
okay? I can see it okay.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to, okay. Okay, so we'll do it like this, guys. Does this work? You guys can see this?
Yep, that works.
Okay, perfect. It's not the high-end presentation mode, but we're good to go.
No
Elizabeth,
judgment.
I'm good to go?
Yeah, we're all good. It's all yours.
Awesome. So good morning, guys. First and foremost, I appreciate the opportunity, Elizabeth. I met, for those of you guys that don't know, I met Elizabeth back at EXPCon Portugal. She absolutely crushed it on stage, as you guys know, and I'm absolutely stoked and honored to have the opportunity to sit in front of you guys and share some information. So I'd love to get right into it. I'll briefly tell you guys a little bit about myself before I do that, just to let you guys know what we'll be covering today. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with for sale by owners or FSBOs. Anybody here, prospect for sale by owners by raise of hand? I can't see many of you guys, but I'll try to scroll down and see. If you don't, it's okay. I want you guys to get excited because everything that I'm going to talk about today, all the frameworks, the formulas, the strategies, the way that I communicate and help my students handle objections and communicate to set appointments can be transferred over to any kind of lead source. So whether you do expireds, for rent by owners, circle prospects, open houses, if you have a Zillow or Realtor.com profile that sends you leads, the way that I communicate and the strategies I'm going to teach you guys can implement over. So don't worry about that. And at the end, for those of you guys that stay till the end, I have a special surprise for you guys. I'll be giving you guys my free brand new 65-page for sale by owner ultimate playbook with all my scripts, all my dialects that you guys can go ahead and take with you guys for free. So before I get into that, I'll give you guys a brief background on myself. My name's Alexis Valladares. I'm 27 years young. I got licensed in 2020. It's been a very quick transition for me from production to full-time coaching. I joined EXP, I want to say 3 months ago, 2 months ago. I'm very happy to be on board. As you guys see here, it says the #1 real estate sales trainer in the world. Although that may not be factual, not only am I going to try to give you guys skills today, but a little bit of insight into mindset, right? Before I became the #1 realtor in my brokerage, the #1 realtor in my team, I said, I'm the #1 realtor on this team. I said, I'm the #1 realtor in this brokerage long before it was a reality. So I'm saying here that I'm the #1 real estate sales trainer in the world. I believe myself wholeheartedly that the information that I give and share with you guys is the best. And whether or not that's true, guys, for some of you guys that may be struggling becoming the top agent in your market center or in your team, you have to lead with mindset, guys. I can teach you guys every single script, line, objection handler. That is a very easy part. The hard part is embracing the mentality to really become the best. I'm sure Elizabeth can attest to that, and she probably teaches you guys every day. In order for you guys to actually strive and become the best, you have to think that first. So I label myself as the #1 real estate sales trainer in the world. At this point, we've trained well over 10,000 agents. We've had the ability and the opportunities to speak on multiple international stages and in different places in the US. So very, very thankful for that. When I was in full production, guys, I did a little bit over 100 transactions myself. I had a team for a period of time. That didn't last too long, but we did some transactions there. And volume-wise, I was the #1, a 1% agent nationwide, which was all done through for sale by owners, guys. I've landed in my career probably several hundred for sale by owner appointments in multiple different states. Something cool that I do with my community, just to give you guys insight, is I cold call every week different markets randomly, and we set appointments every single week. So these strategies that I'm going to teach you guys today, no matter what market you're in, no matter how you communicate in your market, these things will work. So that's a little bit of insight as to my real estate career. Licensed in 2020, transitioned into full-time sales training about a year and a half ago. And before that, to give you guys context, ever since the age of 14 years old, I'm 27 now, I've been doing some sort of entrepreneurship, right? Some sort of business, LLC. Ultimately, all of those things failed, but all those failures led to the mindset, the character, and the success that I'm having now in real estate. So for those of you guys, whether you're brand new, whether you're 4 years in, 5 years in, and you're struggling and you think it's going to take some sort of magic to get you guys over the hump and become ultra successful, I promise you it's not. Real estate is a massive opportunity. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys have talked about the NAR settlement and what that's doing to our industry. In my opinion, guys, it's a massive opportunity. This shift in the market, these changes are going to provide a lot of fear for people and a lot of opportunity for others. The way that you perceive it is going to ultimately determine how successful you guys are going to be. So before I get into this presentation, I would really want you guys to dive in, pay attention, and understand that the time frame that we're going into now, the era that we're going into now in real estate, I think, Elizabeth, you can give me your opinion at the end. I would love to. I think it's the biggest opportunity we've ever had in the last 10, 20 years, as far as a shift goes, as an agent to have an opportunity to get more deals and more market share, okay? So with that being said, guys, I'm going to dive into this. Today, we're going to be going over, let's see here, is this not working? Okay, the 4-step cold calling framework. Again, guys, let's not be narrow-minded and just think this is applicable to FSBOs. You can apply this formula to any lead source at all, whether it's an inbound call, an outbound call. I hope, if you guys are agents, you guys are making some sort of phone calls on a daily basis, right? Can someone give me a thumbs up? Are you guys making phone calls? Yes? Okay, because if not, I don't know what you guys are doing. If you guys aren't making phone calls, I don't know what's up. All right. Step #1, guys, right? This is a 4-step process. Step #1 is getting inside the phone call, right? Actually having the opportunity to connect and engage with the prospect, okay? Why is this not working, man? Okay, got it. It's that one. Step #2, guys, is qualifying the prospect. I'm going to briefly talk about this, right? When I got into the industry, I was very hungry and desperate. I was working a part-time job. I was carrying golf bags. For those of you guys that may know, caddying, I was a caddy. And I had a 90-day goal to get out of caddying to full-time real estate. And I noticed that when I got into the industry, I was at Keller Williams. I started at Keller Williams. And I started getting rental leads. I started calling my SOI, and I started getting people that said they wanted to buy in 6 months, 12 months. And I started working all these opportunities, right? And I started quickly realizing that if I didn't, #1, qualify the prospect, and #2, assess whether or not they were going to be ready, willing, and able to do business with me in a decent time frame, which I categorize as 90 days, that is a qualified prospect for me, someone that can close a transaction in 90 days. I started quickly realizing that I had a finite amount of energy as a single agent. If you don't have a transaction coordinator, if you don't have a personal assistant, if you don't have infrastructure, systems, and processes, you have a finite amount of energy to do business as a single agent. So I started realizing if I just take every opportunity, if I just put every contact in the database and then plan to follow up, all this energy that I'm exhausting on these resources, I'm missing opportunities with people that can do business right now. Okay, if that makes sense, guys. So step #2 about this process, it's not just getting engaged with the person. Once you're engaged, it's asking them a set of questions in a certain way so that you can identify whether or not you even want to invest time into that appointment. Not everybody makes sense for your business, guys, right? And we'll briefly talk about this real quick. I know I don't have much time, but we should be trying to build a listing-oriented business. If you want to scale in real estate, guys, working with buyers is great, but you have to have a process for that. If you guys want to be able to scale and leverage yourself in real estate, in my opinion, you have to work with sellers. Okay, and you have to work with qualified sellers that have real and true motivation. We're in a market right now, guys. The rates aren't extremely high. They're dropping a little bit, but people aren't just selling to sell. Does anybody agree with me? In your markets, are people just selling to sell, or are people selling because they have a reason to sell, right? People are selling because they have to upgrade, downgrade. Someone passed away, unfortunately, they're moving, they have a new job, their kids just left. There's a reason for them to sell. So with this formula, I'm going to teach you guys what questions to ask and in what mannerism to be able to understand whether or not that person is qualified to do business with you, okay? Step number 3, guys, no matter what you do, FSBOs, expired, circle prospects, it does not matter. You will get objections, okay? You need to learn how to manage objections. Okay, I will teach you guys that step by step today. And number 4 is actually setting the appointment. All right, I'm going to teach you guys how to close. Some of you guys may think I'm super aggressive. That is totally okay. I was born to close and help people with their real estate needs. Okay, we're going to teach you guys today how to set qualified appointments. All right, let's go over step number 1, getting inside the call. I usually do this, Elizabeth. I don't know if it's cool with you. If you guys are still with me, drop a 1 in the chat. I don't know if that's something you guys do, just to see who's still paying attention. If you guys are still with me, drop some 1s in the chat. Let's see where this chat's at. Let's go. All right, cool. You guys are with me. By the way, if you guys are wondering what this is not alcohol. This is Mountain Valley water. Okay, just in case. All right, step number 1, getting inside the call. Right. Okay, what's going on here again? I got it. So here's my biggest thing, right? It's called the pattern interrupt. How to stand out in a sea of calls. Let's use for sale by owners as a reference, right? In any market that you're in, I know there's some markets that have more availability with for sale by owners, some have less. And we can use circle prospects as a reference, expires, etc. When you call this person, the first thing you have to understand is that you're not the only person calling. You're not the only person that's trying to reach out to them to gain their business. In order for that person, because think about this, if you're an expired, right? If your home expired and someone calls you and they sound exactly like everybody else. Hey, John, this is Alexis with eXp Realty. I'm giving you a call about the property on 12350. Did you notice that property came off the market? Or, are you willing to pay a commission to a buyer's agent that brings you a buyer? Same tone, same delivery, same lines. The second that you do that and you don't separate yourself in the first 5 to 7 seconds, you're triggering what's called sales resistance. Does anybody know what that is by raise of hand? Sales resistance. When you notice that a prospect, when you're talking, they're not engaging and they're trying to get you off the phone. Hey, no, bring me a buyer. Are you a realtor? Like that kind of tone, that kind of response that they're going to give you, that's because you triggered sales resistance. In order to avoid that, it's still going to happen, but in order to avoid that at the highest level possible, we have to learn how to create a pattern interrupt, okay? So to give you guys examples, an example, right? Most agents, if I'm coming at you guys, don't get offended. We're gonna fix it. Most agents sound like this. Hey, John. Yeah, John, this is Alexis with eXp Realty. I'm looking at the property 1235. Is that property, still available? Are you guys willing to pay commission to a buyer's agent? It's the same tone. The line's very fluid, which is something we want to avoid. I'll break that down to you guys right now. But that immediately triggers sales resistance. Number 1, you don't want to lead with your name and company. I don't lead with that. I never, because the second they hear something realty, something Coldwell, something Keller, they're gonna, oh, this is a realtor. Remember, their goal is for sale by owner. If they're an expired, their goal is to pivot and go somewhere else. They're very frustrated. They just had a process that was supposed to go one way, go a completely different way. So they're already pissed off, guys. Okay, and the reason, to give you guys a little bit of context, the reason why I target for sale by owners over any other lead source is because those are sellers that are ready to do business right now. From there, you can generate buyers, you can generate referrals, etc. So for the sake of the matter today, I'm going to focus on that. Again, you guys can apply this to whatever source of leads that you guys target, okay? So here's how I would open up a call. It goes like this. Hey, John? Yeah, this is John. Who's this, right? Yeah, John, this is Alexis. I'm actually a local realtor here in Kendall. I'm looking at the property you have on Zillow here, 5th Street. Just out of curiosity, are you guys against the idea of compensating an agent if they brought you an offer that made sense? So that's one way of opening it up, right? One thing I'll say before I kind of dive into this, there is no such thing as a script, guys, right? I'm going to give you guys scripts and lines, etc. These lines are interchangeable and you can use them in many, many, many different ways, okay? The important part about this line is the way it is delivered with the tonality. Did you guys notice the pauses, the stutters on purpose? I want to make this person feel like I'm calling them with curiosity. I don't want to make them feel like I'm reading off a paper or that I'm doing this 50 or 100 times in a day. I want to make them feel like this is the only phone call that I'm making in the entire day. So it'll be like this. I'll do it again for you guys. This is another example of me getting engagement in the conversation for sale by owner. Hey, John? Yeah, John, this is Alexis. I'm looking at a property here on Fifth Street. Is that property available, or did you guys already put that under contract by chance? Right, that is another easy, this may seem very simple, guys, but that is another easy way to get into a conversation. Is that property available, or did you guys already put that property under contract by chance? Versus, hey, John, yeah, John, this is Alexis. Is that property still available, or are you guys already under contract? It's a very subtle change in tone, guys, that can go a very, very long way. I call it the curious tone. You have to use a curious tone when you're opening up the conversation and when you're transitioning into qualifying questions, okay? This part of the process, guys, is very, very quick and very, very simple. Once they are engaged, if it's a for sale by owner and expired, no matter how good you interrupt the pattern, they're going to start throwing you objections. Okay? Are you guys with me so far? Everybody cool so far? Cool. All right, that is the pattern interrupt. We'll continue to give you guys more examples as we go. The whole purpose of this is to get them to stop and say, all right, this is a little bit different than what I've been getting. This person's not reading off a script. This person's a genuine person that's curious about my property. Okay, there's many different ways to do this. Second part of this process, right, is still in the first part of the call, objection prevention. Everybody talks about objection handling. We need to start talking a little bit more about objection prevention. Very, very simple formula, guys. If you're calling old buyer leads, right? Let's say you're calling, your broker gave you a list of buyer leads that are people that inquired on Zillow. Make 5 or 6 phone calls and sound like the salesy realtor that sucks. And see what things they say in the first 5 to 7 seconds. Oh, I'm not shopping anymore. Oh, the rates are too high. Oh, the elections this year. Oh, I'm not in a rush. All those things, write them down and then start the call like this. Hey, John. Yeah, John, this is actually Alexis. I just came across your file here. I noticed that you were shopping a couple months ago. You probably, obviously, might be on the sidelines because the rates are too high. You might not be in a rush. Totally understand that. Just wanted to reach out really quickly before I had went ahead and canceled this file out. Are you folks still looking for a good deal in this market? He now can't hit me. I entered the phone call, but he now can't hit me with, oh, the rates are too high. I'm not in a rush. The elections this year. Because I just said that up front. Instead, he's going to probably go straight to, hey, look, I'm not looking because of XYZ, the real objection. Or he's going to say, yeah, we're actually in the process of XYZ looking or whatnot. With for sale by owners, how do we objection prevent? What are the main objections with for sale by owners? Are you a realtor? I don't want to pay commission. I don't want to list. I'm selling by myself. Why are you calling me? Right? So it could go like this. Hey, John. Yeah, John, this is Alexis. The property on Fifth Street, is that property still available? Or did you guys already put a contract on that one? Oh, no, it's still available. Are you a realtor? Yeah, look, John, 100%. I'm an agent. I know you've probably gotten a bunch of phone calls. At this point, I'm assuming you want to save on the commission. You don't want to list, and you probably want to do this on your own. John, out of curiosity, just so I figure out whether or not this call makes sense, if I did bring you an offer with price and terms that made sense for this property, is collaborating with an agent an idea you're completely against at this point? That's it. That's entering the call with a pattern interrupt, ask a question up front, get their engagement, prevent all the objections, and then present them with a proposal. If I brought you, notice the language, if I brought you an offer that made sense, price and terms, that fit this property and your family's needs, at this point, are you against the idea of potentially collaborating with a realtor or with an agent? Notice the whole thing, guys. Neutral words, potentially. Are you guys against the idea of potentially collaborating with an agent? But some people, here's a gem, guys. When we call people, we call them with our interest in mind, with our commission, the transaction that we're going to do, and what's in it for us. If you set that aside and you call people and speak to them in terms of what is in favor for them, of their end result, you're going to have a much higher success rate on the phone. Okay, you guys with me so far? I know this is like information overload, but I can't really see some of you guys. I'm trying to click through and see who's still with us.
I'm with you, Alexis.
They're all with you.
So, guys, objection prevention is one of the easiest ways to get inside the phone call. Just like I said, figure out what lead source you're calling. And the first thing I did when I got into KW, I got a book with like Tom Ferry scripts, all this kind of stuff. Great. And I started calling and I started getting all these objections. All I did was write them down and neutralize them in the first 5 to 7 seconds. That's it. Okay. We're going to keep going here, guys. So, like a chess player, I think I already went through that. All right. So for example, right, I'm going to give you guys another example. I know I already did, but I'll say, hey, John, really briefly, I actually do have another call to get on right now. So I'll be brief with this. I just came across a property on Fifth Street. I know you're selling by yourself and probably don't want to work with an agent to save on commissions. Let me ask you a question. If an offer did come across the table that made sense financially, even after all the closing costs and commissions, is that an idea at this point that you're against? That's called objection prevention and finishing off with a question. The person, guys, this is another tip. I hope you guys are, this is being recorded, right, guys? Elizabeth, good. So I would say the best way to digest this information, guys, is to pay attention and then go back on this recording and write these notes down. The best way to manage a sales call, guys, is to be in control. How do we remain in control? You guys probably know this, maybe not. Is to be the one asking questions. If they go, are you a realtor? And you say, yes, I'm an agent with EXP, and you stop, you now just relinquish control of the phone call. Hey, are you a realtor? Yeah, John, look, I am an agent with EXP. Totally get that. I'm sure you've probably gotten flooded with calls. I'll be very brief. I actually have another meeting to hop in right after. Out of curiosity, if I did bring you a client with an offer that made sense financially, are you guys against that idea at this point? Right? He said, are you a realtor? But I said, hey, yeah, John, totally. I'm an agent with EXP. I know you're probably getting flooded with calls, man. I definitely don't want to be a bother. I actually have to pop into a meeting right after this. Just out of curiosity, really quick, the property on 5th Street, if I brought you an offer that made sense financially, price and terms, are you guys against the idea of collaborating with an agent? They'll either say, what do you mean by collaborating? What do you mean by that? I'm paying 2%, et cetera. You're moving the conversation forward. Okay? Are you guys understand? This part is very crucial, guys. On a sales call, you can never finish off with a statement. Everything is in the form of a question. Right? If you feel inclined to at some point tell someone, right? Let's say they say, well, would you recommend working with a realtor? Instead of saying, yeah, I recommend working with a realtor, we say, hey, look, John, at the end of the day, from what you're telling me, it sounds like you want to make the most amount of money, right? So let me ask you this. If you found that working with an agent was going to get you a better outcome with this transaction, is that an idea you'd be open to? But notice how I just turned everything around into a question. Instead of saying, yeah, John, I think you should work with a realtor. I think you should interview me. I said, well, hey, John, let me ask you this. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense. If you sat down with an agent that made you feel after presenting their plan that you could get a better result with them, I mean, is that an idea you'd be open to? Set the appointment, right? But this is framework, guys. This is not scripts. This is not line. This is framework. These are all things that you guys have to have in your arsenal, okay? Let's keep rolling here. By the way, I'm going to do a Q&A at the end. I have time. I don't have another call until 11:30, so we'll wrap this up around 11-ish, I think, if that's okay with Elizabeth, and then I'll pop in for some questions for you guys. Okay, so this line, we already went over it. This is my number one opening line for sale by owners. Almost every call. John, just out of curiosity, the property over on 5th, is that property still available, or did you guys already put a contract on that? That line always gets me in the conversation. Same thing with expireds. Hey, John, yeah, the property on 5th, I know you're probably getting a bunch of calls. I noticed it came off the market. Just out of curiosity, are you still looking at offers on that property, or did you guys already take that off the market completely? Get inside the conversation. Get inside the conversation, and then from there we start preventing objections, asking questions, and qualifying. Okay. Step number 2, qualifying the prospect. Okay. We have to dig deep, guys. At least for me, I'm going to give you guys my methodology. When I came into real estate, the most amount of money I had ever made in a year was $30,000 bucks. Was $30,000 bucks in 2020. In 2021, I made close to $250K. The reason why I made that money was because I identified and I told myself, I am now worth more money. So I sat down, and my broker at the time said, how much money do you want to make this year? I said, I'm brand new, but I'm gonna freaking crush everybody in this market center. I don't care. You're gonna put me with whoever's gonna teach me, and I'm gonna crush this market center. So I said, right, this is a very simple formula that you guys can do. I said, there's 2080 working hours in a year, 2,080 working hours in a year. I wanted to make 250K. So I got 250,000 and I divided by 2080. And I said, I'm now worth 120 bucks an hour, more or less, right? Roughly, depending on how many hours you guys work. I said, I'm not going to get ready, prepare for an appointment, do comparables, do a presentation, get in my car, sit in traffic because I'm from Miami, go present, and then have someone at the end say, hey, well, look, we're not really actually in a rush. We don't really need to sell. We don't really need to lower the price. We don't really need to do this. So I said, I need to qualify the prospect better, because the 4 hours that I just invested in this listing presentation with an unqualified prospect cost me $500-600 bucks. So some of you guys, guys, I know how it feels to be in a position where you do not have the funds to pay the bills, to pay the mortgage, to pay the car, and you need the next deal more than anything else in the world. If you chase the deal will run. If you chase the deal will run. You guys need to sit down belly to belly, face to face with people that are ready, willing, and able to do business with you. And that's going to happen when you know the prospect's motivation. But you can't just say, hey, John, what's your motivation to sell this house? It's not going to work, guys. Okay. So how do we do that? I just mentioned that not every door is worth opening. Oh, what happened here? Did you guys lose my screen? Hold on.
No, we see it.
All right. So It says not every door is worth opening. Qualifying the prospect ensures you're walking through the right ones, guys. I cannot emphasize this enough. This is the thing that I talk about probably the most. Selective prospecting. Once you guys start developing these skill sets to communicate, you guys are going to be able to set appointments. You guys got to then determine which appointments you want to go to. Okay? I'm going to keep emphasizing that as we go. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm kind of lost here. Hold on. You guys can still see my screen?
Yeah, it says not every door, it's that slide.
Okay, perfect. You guys are with me. Obviously, I'm not the most techie person here, but that's okay. Which is crazy because I'm 27 years old. All right. Qualifying questions, right? The number one thing we want to find out, guys, is their motive, right? Why are they selling? Why are they buying? What does the entire picture look like? Okay, but understand this, guys. They don't know you. They don't trust you. They don't want to tell you what their real motivation is because they think you want to work against them. They think you're like a wholesaler or someone that wants to negotiate a deal for their buyer, or you just want to get your commission. They don't understand. So we have to position this question in a frame. Hey, John, let me ask you, if I did bring you an offer, this is hypothetical. If I did bring you an offer with price and terms that made sense to you and your family at this point, could you kind of walk me through what the closing process would look like for you guys on this property? Right? Instead of saying, how quickly do you have to move? Or how fast can you get out? I'll say, hey, John, could you walk me what the ideal closing process would look like for you? And a lot of the times we'll say, what do you mean by that? Well, John, I mean, let's assume, right? I obviously don't know yet whether or not I can bring you this result. And that little line that I hit there, John, just assuming I don't know whether or not I can bring you this result. That's called being detached from the outcome. Instead of like most realtors saying, well, John, 100% working with us, you can get a better deal. I say, John, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know whether or not I could bring you anything that makes sense yet. Haven't even seen the property in person. Just out of curiosity, so I can understand whether or not, continuing this conversation makes sense. If I did find you someone with all the terms that made sense, even after all closing costs, you were perfectly okay with the net numbers, what would this closing process look like for you? And then he's going to say, well, we can be out in 30, 45 days. We got another property that we're looking at, et cetera. And then now you can start digging deeper. Okay, John. And okay, so you have another property that you're looking at in San Antonio and you'd rather be there, sooner rather than later. Let me ask you at this point, and hopefully this is not the case. Let's say the 30 or 45 days do go by and you don't get a contract that you're okay with. At that point, what would be your alternative plan? Just out of curiosity. But notice how I just transitioned from asking about his motivation to now asking for his business without really asking for his business. Just trying to see what his game plan is, right? Now, I want to give you guys a gem real quick. When you guys are asking questions, right? Because some of you guys might get this skill set and develop a list of questions, depending on what lead source you target. Instead of just asking question after question after question, like you're interviewing the person, I'll say, hey, look, John, and by the way, just to give you context, the only reason why I'm asking you these questions, I'm just trying to figure out whether or not the people I have access to, like my buyers and my investors, would make sense for this property. I know a lot of agents say they're going to follow up, they're going to touch base. I don't want to touch base if it doesn't make sense. I want to be transparent. So if you don't mind me asking, and then going to the next question. But you're having a real, genuine conversation. You're giving them context. Does that make sense, guys? You guys with me? Most people just read off, well, hey, John, is the property vacant or is it tenant occupied? And how long do you have to be out of there by? And where are you going to next? And what happens if you don't sell? And we sound like robots. You have to have a genuine conversation with them for them to feel comfortable, okay? That is a great example, guys. That is my go-to line. What does this closing process look like for you guys? Let's say you're on the phone with a buyer that had interest 2 months ago. Hey, Sally, let me ask you this. Obviously, we don't know right now whether or not you guys are going to pull the trigger with this purchase. Let's say we did find you a property that made sense financially, logistically, and fit all your criteria. Ideally, what would be the best time frame for you guys to be inside this new property? Right? We're giving them context and then we're asking them a question. So they can tell us, well, in a perfect world, right? And notice that, guys. I know I'm all over the place because I'm trying to give you guys so much information in such a short period of time. I'm always presenting them perfect hypothetical situations, but I'm not guaranteeing them. Hey, look, Sally, obviously we don't know whether or not this is possible, but just out of curiosity, if we did find you a home that fit all the criteria you're looking for, at that point, how quickly would you want to be inside that home? What are we doing there? We're gauging motivation. We're figuring out whether or not they're a prospect. The second someone starts telling you, hey, we're just not really in a rush. The way you handle that objection, I'm not really in a rush. Hey, look, John, totally okay. No problem. Just so I get some context, I do, like I said, the reason why I called you was because I had some buyers in the area. If I do get an offer on this particular home, what should I do with that? Right? Let's peel back the onion a little bit more. What should I do with that offer? Or if they're buying, hey, John, if I do find you a property that makes sense with what you just told me, should I send you over an email or should I just not go ahead and send this since you're not in a rush? And then we can really, really figure out whether or not they're motivated. Okay. So qualifying questions. We already went through that. Guys, building rapport is very, very important. Building rapport has to be genuine. You have to genuinely care from the bottom of your heart for that person to have a better result. Okay. This is called a tie down right here, guys. John, so just so I understand clearly your goal from what you're telling me, from what I'm understanding, just so I make sure we're on the same page, your goal is to sell this home for the most amount of money and then make the best investment with your hard-earned equity, correct? Just so I understand. Notice the difference, guys, from John. So just so I understand and clearly, your goal is to sell this home for the most money possible and then make the best investment with your hard-earned equity, correct? Right? Instead of reading it, I said, and John, you know, this is always me. I'm never reading off a script. I'm always using my hands. John, just so I get a better idea and understand if we're on the same page or not right now, from what you're telling me and from what I'm gathering, correct me if I'm wrong, your main objective here, regardless of anything, is to sell this property over at 5th Street for the most amount of money and then get that equity and find the best investment possible, correct? Yes. Yeah. That's my goal. That's called a tie down. Then we hit him with the hypothetical, right? Well, I mean, John, obviously, I don't know whether or not this would make sense right now. Obviously, it sounds like your main goal is to sell this property for the most amount of money. Let me ask you this. If there was a way that I could sit you down and walk you through a plan that made sense for you and your family to get property A sold for the most amount of money and then get you into property B in a time frame that made sense for an amount that made sense as well. I mean, is that a conversation at this point that you'd be against having with me? Right? Tie down, and then you pitch them. It doesn't sound like a pitch. It's like, you know, just out of curiosity, would you be against the idea of me, ABC, sitting down with you to get you to XYZ? If that made sense after we sat down, because I say this all the time, John, I know you're not going to make any decisions that don't make sense. You sound like a smart guy. But if we did sit down and I presented you black and white that I could get you a better result than you can get yourself, I mean, is that an idea you'd be against at this point? Most of the time they're going to say, I mean, I'm not against it. I'm not opposed to it. And then you go ahead and set the appointment, right? That was the next line that I was going to get to, creating a hypothetical plan. You know, John, I know this conversation, by the way, guys, this is super, super important. Having phone presence, like social phone presence. If you're making a cold call and it is the first call, you have to continuously lower the resistance by saying, hey, look, John, I know, by the way, this conversation is probably going a little bit longer than you expected. I actually have another call to hop on right after. But let me ask you this. Instead of just like settling into the call, you always have to make it seem like you're about to get off the phone. And if they're like, hey, look, I'm really busy. You hear background noise. They're on a construction site. They're at work. I called someone the other day and they were like, I heard beeps in the back. Beep. And I was like, look, it sounds like you're a little bit busy. She's like, yeah, I'm in the middle of an operation. I was like, yeah, when's a better time to give you a call back? But some of you guys don't identify that. Some of you guys just go through it. You guys just start going through your script and don't identify the background noise. So number one, if they're engaging, just say, hey, look, I know this call's completely out of the blue. Obviously, this conversation is probably going a little bit longer because it's making a little bit of sense. Let me ask you this, right? You found out their motivation. They want to get over to ABC, but before that, they have to sell XYZ. So you say, hey, John, if I was able to get XYZ done for you in a way that made sense, even after commissions and closing costs, and put you into ABC in a manner that made sense, I mean, I know you're against an agent right now, but I mean, is that an idea at this point that you're against just putting on the table? Right. And that's before we go into it, we say, hey, look, I know this conversation is probably going a little bit longer than you expected. I actually have another call to hop on. So I'll ask you real quick and then you ask them. Okay. Or like I said, guys, if you identify that they're in a place where they cannot engage with you, take control and say, hey, look, it sounds like right now might not be the best time to chat. When would be a better time to give you a ring back for 5 or 10 minutes? And then you call them back. Okay. I know you guys probably have a bunch of questions right now. We're getting to the best part, which is objection handling. I promise you guys I'll take questions right at the end. I'm probably going to speed this up a little bit because we got not much time. So objection handling, right? Number one, I can't give you guys the whole breakdown. I wish I had more time. It's not about knowing what to say, guys. It's not about knowing what to say. That is the easiest part. Memorizing or knowing the objection or the framework is the easiest part. Most of us went to high school. Some of us went to college. Algebra is way freaking harder than this. Okay, way freaking harder than this. This is the easiest part. The hardest part is having the mindset. I know a lot of you guys, and I'm speaking in general terms, get on the phone or wake up and are about to open your dialer and hope for the easiest calls, hope for the best calls with no resistance. That is the wrong approach, guys. You have to want the hardest objections and you have to want the hardest calls and the hardest appointments. That is how you're going to get better. The reason why I teach all my students, regardless of their production level or what lead source they prefer, the reason why I teach them to go for sale by owners on a weekly basis is because it's going to develop a skill set to become the absolute best salesperson that they can be. And the definition of salesperson is someone that can help their clients achieve the result that they want. Okay, but if you guys keep asking for the easy stuff, you're never going to develop the skill set that you need to tackle the hard stuff. And the money is in the hard stuff. Okay, so this skill is more mindset than anything. This skill is having the ability to take no over and over and over again and continue going. This skill is having the mindset to embrace the hardest possible conversations, because those will typically lead into the best results. Okay, the next part, what I'm going to break down now, the framework, is the easiest part, guys. Don't get scared. It's the easiest part. It's all about the mindset, guys. I promise. I put here, embrace the challenge. I'm so bad at these presentations. I'm just like usually off the dome. I'm so bad at following these little presentations. All right, the objection handling framework. Number 1, agree and acknowledge. Okay, I'll break that down. Number 2, isolate the objection. Number 3, tie down. And number 4, close. Okay, let's get into it. Agree and acknowledge, start with empathy. When a prospect raises an objection, they're handing you the key. Okay, like literally, guys, when they start objecting, think about this, guys. If they didn't want to buy or they didn't want to engage, they'd hang up or tell you to get out of the house. Remember that. If they did not want to buy, they would tell you, please get out of my house, or they would just hang up. When they start saying, are you a realtor? I'm not in a rush. I don't want to buy. I have a family friend. I'm only paying 2%. They want to buy. Now it is your job as a salesperson to know how to turn that key the right way. Okay. For example, hey, Alexis, are you a realtor? Hey, look, John, 100%. I'm an agent. I know you've probably gotten a ton of phone calls. I can totally understand how frustrating that might be. You obviously want to do this for sale by owner. I won't be too long, by the way. I have another call after this. I just wanted to briefly ask you, if I did bring you a client with an offer that made sense, price and terms, after commissions, you had the net numbers you wanted, at that point, would you be completely against the idea of working alongside an agent? Right? That is agreeing and acknowledging. Hey, John, look, 100%. I'm an agent. I know you've probably gotten a ton of phone calls. I'll be very brief. I actually have another meeting to hop in right now. Notice the tone, guys. Not, hey, yeah, John, yeah, 100%. I'm an agent. I know you've probably gotten a lot of phone calls. No. Hey, look, John, yeah, 100%. I know you've gotten a lot of phone calls, man. I'll be very, very brief. I actually have another meeting to hop in right now. Tonality. And that's going to shift from prospect to prospect, right? Let's say I'm talking to Sally, and Sally's like 85 years old. Hello, Alexis. Hey, yeah, Sally, look, I am an agent. I know you've probably gotten a lot of phone calls. I definitely don't want to bother. I can understand you're pretty frustrated. I'll be very brief. I just wanted to ask you, Sally, right? Notice how I slowed it down for her and adjusted to her tone. If you have someone like in Miami, guys, if you have a slow tone in Miami, if you guys think I talk fast, I talk slow. Like Miami people do not have time. Are you a realtor? Like, just bring a buyer. Look, John, man, totally get it. I'll be very, very brief. I know you're frustrated. You're probably overwhelmed with these calls at the end of the day. And sometimes I'll just cut to the chase. At the end of the day, I'm assuming from what you're saying, you just want to sell the house for the most money. And you think that doing it without a realtor is going to make the most sense, right? And then I'll slow it down. Well, let me ask you this, John. I know you're frustrated. If I brought you, right, the hypothetical, if I brought you ABC that got you to XYZ and it made sense, I mean, are you against that? It's not going to work every time, guys. I'll tell you that right now. This is not a magic formula, but it's going to be much better than probably how a lot of us are communicating at this point. But the most important part, guys, I have people that I train that they'll get an objection. Like I have a family friend, that I'd rather do it with. And they'll say, well, are you 100% confident that person can get the job done the best way possible? That's how they'll go about it. Are you 100%? They'll start getting combative. If someone says, I have a family friend or realtor in my family that can do it for me, I'll say, look, John, 100%. I'm actually glad that you have someone in mind in case this doesn't work out. That's totally awesome that you have a backup plan. Just out of curiosity, so I get some context and figure out whether or not this conversation makes sense. If I brought you an offer that made sense to you guys financially, at this point, are you guys fully obligated to that realtor? Or would you guys be open to exploring working with another agent if it made more financial sense? Right? Instead of getting combative from the beginning, I genuinely agreed and acknowledged. I said, hey, look, John, 100% from what you're telling me, it sounds like your main objective is to make the most amount of money. And it sounds like you have a plan B and things in line in case for sale by owner doesn't work. Just out of curiosity, so I have context on my end and figure out whether or not this conversation makes sense. If I brought you ABC that got you to XYZ and it meant more money for you, are you fully obligated to that agent or would you be open to exploring better options? That's the formula, right? Agree, acknowledge, isolate, right? The objection, first of all, guys, we have to identify the objection. The objection is I have a family friend or realtor. If I brought you something that made more sense than what they brought you, is that an idea that you're against? That is called isolating the objection. It's like algebra. You get the objection, you move it over, and you isolate it. Let's say they don't, I don't want to pay commission, man. You know, I want to do something on my own. I don't want to pay commission. Look, John, totally understand. I'm looking at the property here. It says that you've owned it for 7 years. It looks like you put a new roof. I mean, you've preserved a bunch of equity in this home. It's obvious that you want to make the most amount of money from the transaction. Let me ask you this, John. I know you're against the commission right now. If there was a way to actually bring you an offer that had full price and terms, and even after the commissions, you made more money net, is that an idea at this point that you're completely against, just so I understand? That's called agreeing, acknowledging, isolating. I separated the objection. I tied it down. A tie down is, hey, John, if I brought you XYZ that brought you ABC in a better manner, are you against that? And then I say, hey, look, John, from what you're telling me, this is the closing. From what you're telling me and from what I'm gathering at this point, I think on my end, it would make sense just to have a conversation about this. I mean, I don't know how serious you are about getting this home sold. No, I'm serious. I'm serious about it. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know how serious you are about truly exploring all options, but I'm actually going to be in that neighborhood on Wednesday and Thursday showing some other properties. I don't know if something like the morning or the afternoon, either of those 2 days will work better for you for a quick 15, 20-minute chat, just to figure out whether or not any of this could make sense. Right? That's called the closing part, the two-way close. I know a lot of people talk about the two-way close, that it doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to break that down to you guys for right now in a second on how you're supposed to use the two-way close, okay? But this is called isolating the objection, guys. Just talked about the tie down. Let's go through this example real quick. So, John, I don't know whether or not, guys, by the way, this is super crucial. This is called leaning out of the conversation. I don't know whether or not, obviously I haven't seen the home yet. I could do this for you, but from what it sounds like, your main objective right now here is to make the most amount of money while selling this home, correct? That's called another tie down. That's called a micro commitment. They're giving you micro commitments, okay? John, if there was a way, and I mean, this is hypothetically speaking, if you could hire an agent, expedite the process, and even after covering all the commissions and closing costs, you still had more money net than you could on your own. I mean, is that an idea at this point that you're completely against taking a look at? Notice, guys, instead of saying, is that an idea at this point that you're completely against taking a look at? I said, I mean, John, at this point, is that an idea that you'd be completely against taking a look at? Notice the difference in tone and delivery, guys. That is what's going to separate you from being a good average salesperson to being a great person that's going to land appointments and present consistently and take the listing. It's the way you deliver the message. Okay? It's not about the script. The playbook that I'm going to give you guys right now at the end is amazing. You have to be able to use the context around it. Okay? You guys with me so far? Let's get some more ones in the chat. Let's get some ones, guys. Come on. Drop some ones with me. We're almost done. And then we open up for Q&A. By the way, on top of the free playbook, guys, Elizabeth told me it's okay to give you guys completely free access to my platform, where I have training videos, extended scripts, and all the stuff that you guys might need to actually implement this over a long period of time. So forever those that want to train with me a little bit longer, you guys will have access to my free platform. You get that for free. And we can obviously, I do a free live call every single week with my community, and I'd be more than excited to continue elaborating on these subjects for you guys. So step number 4, setting the appointment, right? This is once we've identified. Oh no, the recording stopped.
No, that wasn't me. That was somebody else.
Zoom got tired of me. Okay, so we're still good?
You're still good.
Okay, cool. So guys, setting the appointment is very important. This is the easiest part. This is once you've identified that the person you are talking to makes sense for your business. In my opinion, right? Let's break this down really, really, really fast. When I started, I had the idea that I wanted to become, doing agent attraction from the very beginning. I knew I wanted to be a coach. I knew I wanted to help other realtors. I was always a leader in high school, doing sports, etc. I knew I wanted to become a leader. So I said, how can I get to this goal as quickly as possible? I said, building a database is not for me. That might be for some of you guys. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with being a realtor 15, 20 years. This is an awesome profession. I said, I want to exit production as fast as possible. I identified my goals. So I knew that if I wanted to do that, building a database was not going to be for me. I wanted to do business right now. From that right now business was going to generate me referrals. Referrals meant more right now business, closing, funds, revenue, systems, processes, scaling, right? That's what it looked like for me. Identify whatever that looks like for you and understand who your ideal avatar is. Who is your ideal client that can actually lead to a closed transaction? For me, it was a for sale by owner that didn't have much experience. That was a husband and a wife, less than 2 people on title, 2 or less, and someone that was ready to make a decision right now, if it made sense. If they were an investor, if they weren't in a rush, if they were just testing the waters, I wasn't going to meet with that person. Even though I'm very well aware that it could have led to a further relationship, I only wanted to meet guys with people that made sense for what my goals were, because I knew what my standard was. Okay, that's why I mentioned earlier, I wish I could have had more time to get into it, but this stuff is cool. The scripts, the skills, this stuff is cool. If you don't have the mindset behind it and the infrastructure mentally to know where you're going, you're going to walk on a treadmill. Okay? So before I get into this, setting the appointment, very important that I say that. The two-way close, right? There's different ways to do this, guys. I like to use the two-way close. I don't like to give them the option to say no. But the two-way close, understand this, the two-way close is not going to work if you say, hey, John, could you meet Tuesday or Wednesday? 5:30 or 6:30? That's not going to work, okay? That's generic. The way it works is, hey, look, John, I'm taking a look at my calendar now. I mean, based on our conversation, at least on my end, I think it's worth meeting for 15, 20 minutes just to see whether or not this makes sense. I mean, if there was a way to get you another 8 or 10% out of this transaction, I'm sure we wouldn't be against it. I'm actually sitting down with a couple of other sellers in that area, Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know which one of those 2 days would work better for you, right? Instead of saying, would Wednesday or Thursday work better for you? I gave them a bunch of context. I said, look, based on this conversation, I'm taking a look at my calendar now. I'm actually going to be in your area Wednesday or Thursday. I mean, I don't know if at this point it would make sense for you. Which one of those 2 days will work better for us to have a quick sit down? Two things are going to happen. Either they're going to start setting the appointment, or they're going to go back into objection handling and saying, hey, I'm just not really in a rush right now, man. This sounds great. Just call me back in 45 days. Hey, look, John, formula. Hey, look, John, no problem. I completely understand, man. You've gotten a bunch of phone calls. It's probably very, very hard to tell who's worth investing time into at this point. Just so I can make a note on my system and figure out whether or not another conversation makes sense. If I got a buyer specifically that said they wanted to see the home now and put an offer in the next 5 days, what should I do with that? Just so I know, right? Because he said, I'm not really in a rush. Oh, no, you can bring him by. You can bring him by. Bring me the offer. Okay, John, so I think we're not on the same page, right? I know you have a plan right now to sell for sale by owner. You want to avoid commissions and you want to do this on your own. From what we talked about, it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going back to the tie down. Correct me if I'm wrong. Your main objective here, regardless of everything else, is to make the most amount of money, correct? So if there was a way to put more money net in your pocket than you can put yourself, and that involved paying a commission, but you still made more money, I mean, you'd be against that? Right? Notice how it's a loop, guys. It's a loop, but we're having a genuine conversation. We're interacting and we're going back. Okay, so let's do this. And then you go back to the appointment setting. Okay, so it's a framework, guys. What I would recommend you guys do, if you guys join my free community, we'll dive in deeper to this where you guys lay it out on a whiteboard. It's all a framework. Okay, you go for the appointment set. If they say no, it's back to objection handling, isolating, tie down, close again, while trying to bring that sales resistance down. I've had students, guys, that join my platform, and I'll call them out. I'll say, because we're talking about objection handling. They're like, well, what if they say no like 4 times? Isn't that really uncomfortable? I'm like, sure, that is. But what's also really uncomfortable is not having money to pay your mortgage at the end of the month, right? That's super uncomfortable too, right? So I'll ask some of my students that are on the platform, like, John, how many times did I loop around to get you inside the community? Oh, like 8 or 9 times. Did you feel uncomfortable? No, I didn't feel uncomfortable. We were having a conversation. When you learn how to do that, guys, at a presentation in person to sell someone's asset, you've won the game. It has to feel frictionless. No one's going to give you, guys, very rarely are you going to get the listing on the first or second try. Sometimes you have to ask for the business 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, right? And I'll give you guys a quick gem on what I do at the listing presentation. When they get like triggered, you'll see it. They won't say it, but you'll see it. I'll say, hey, look, John, it seems like you're getting a little bit uncomfortable. Totally understand, man. Let me ask you this. We identified that you wanted to sell the home for the most amount of money, right? Would you say that hiring an agent that can demonstrate to you the ability to negotiate is going to get you that result? Yeah. What do you mean by that? Yeah, for sure. So, John, this is like the 8th time that we loop around this, right? You told me that you met with 4 other agents prior and that they all dropped their commission to 3 or 4%. I mean, out of curiosity, would that indicate to you the ability to negotiate? Or would you say that me sitting down here with you having a conversation and trying to figure out what the best course of action for your property is, after 8 or 9 times that you've shut it down, who would you say at this point has a better ability to negotiate and represent if you were to hire them? Oh, me. Oh, okay, cool. Right? So it's very important, guys. There's so many parts of this puzzle. And again, I wish I had more time. The social presence, right? Whether you're on the phone or in person, of identifying how the other person is reacting or feeling. It's much harder to do it over the phone because you can't see them. Very, very important for this process. You can't just continue looping around without identifying what's happening. Look, John, I know this is uncomfortable, man. This call's going on way longer than we thought. Your property's for sale right now for $750,000. A 5% difference is a significant amount of money. Would you agree? I mean, that's why you're doing it for sale by owner, to put more money in your pocket, right? So all I'm trying to figure out, I mean, if this doesn't make sense, just let me know. But from what you're telling me, you want to make the most amount of money. And if there was an alternative way to do that, even if it meant paying a commission, if you still made more money, I mean, you'd be against that? It's a loop, guys. But the way you deliver it is very ultra important, okay? Once you have the appointment, guys, right? Are you guys good with me on the two-way close? You want me to run through that real quick again? The two-way close is giving them an either or, 5:30 or 6:30. Because if you say, hey, look, John, are you available on 6:30 on Monday? No, I'm not available. But if you say, John, does something like Monday morning or Monday afternoon work better? No, I can only do Tuesday in the morning. Now you know, right? So the two-way close, always give them two options for everything you do, okay? Now, this is ultra important, guys. When you set the appointment, set expectations, okay? When John says, hey, yeah, look, we'll meet you there at 5:30. Hey, look, John, really quick, right before I let you go, I want to be very, very transparent and upfront with you. I do not want to waste your time, and I definitely don't want to waste my time. All I want to do on Thursday at 5, pass by the property, take a look at the home in person, and have a sit down with you and see if any of this even makes sense. If anything makes sense, we can talk about further details then. Cool? I know some of you guys, I know there's some people out there that say, well, hey, John, if everything does make sense, are you willing to move forward and sign a contract on Tuesday? Like, I would not do that. I never say the word contract, agreement, nothing like that on the phone. If you identify true and real motivation and they truly don't have anybody that they're obligated to, right? Real motivation and no one that they're obligated to, you have a potential appointment. All you have to say is, John, all I want to do at that property on 5 on Tuesday is take a look around, assess a condition, have a conversation with you and see if any of this even makes sense. Very detached and leaned out for the outcome, okay? I think I wrote it down there. John, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. I wouldn't say that. I don't know why it says that. I'm not coming over to try to sell you on anything. I probably wouldn't say that. You could maybe get away with that, but I'd say something like, hey, look, John, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. I'm not expecting for us to do anything crazy on Thursday if it doesn't make sense. I know you're not going to make any decisions that don't make sense. All I want to do is shake your hand, take a look at the property and figure out whether or not what I have in place can help you sell this home for more money. Is that cool? If that makes sense, we can definitely go into further details. And that's the expectation. Between the time that the appointment was set and that the appointment is being taken, I'm talking to them like at least 2 or 3 more times to build some more rapport and have a higher show-up rate. That is a completely different conversation that I did not have time for. But to quickly summarize, guys. Oh, last part. This is very important. Ensure decision makers are present, guys. In real estate, right? If there's 2 or 3 people or 4 people on title, you cannot get a listing agreement signed by only one. Right? I'm not saying this has to be the case every time, but if you go present to a house, right, that has 4 owners and you crush it with owner number 1 and owner number 2, 3, and 4 are in different states. Do you think that owner number 1 is going to call owner number 2, 3, and 4 and say, yo, guys, this dude, Alexis, bro, his 6% commission is crazy. It's the craziest thing in the world. You have to sign with him. No, they're not going to do that. So in order for you guys to genuinely get business over and over and over again, predictably, you have to be meeting with all the decision makers at once. Okay. There's going to be very few cases where you think, you know what, the wife is there, the husband's there, he's in charge of the decisions. I'll go meet with just him. If you identify that that's an opportunity, go for it. But for the most part, guys, you want to make sure you're sitting down and presenting with the decision makers at the table. Okay. Confirm the appointment. All right. So let's go over this real quick, guys, before we get into the Q&A. Number 1 is getting inside the call with a pattern interrupt. Okay. Once we do that, once we're in the call, immediately go into qualifying questions. John, so just out of curiosity, let's say I did bring you that offer. It sounds like you're pretty open to ideas at this point. What would the closing process look like for you? You can flip that for buyers as well. Hey, Sally, if I brought you, a property that made sense, let's say they're an investor. If I brought you a property that made sense with all the numbers, the cap rate, et cetera, that made sense, just so I have some context and I understand where you're at with your process, how soon would you want to be in this property? That's called qualifying questions. And once they answer, don't just move on. Start digging deeper. Get all the context. Get all the pictures. Figure out their pain. Figure out why they haven't moved. Dig. From there, either objection handling over here is step number 3, but that could happen right at the beginning. They could start the call with, are you a realtor? Why are you calling? I don't want to talk to you. How'd you get my number? You guys got that one? How'd you get my number? Right? So that could happen at any point. Agree, acknowledge, isolate, tie down, close. And then number 4 is setting the appointment. For me, guys, honestly, 95% of the time, I'm either setting the appointment or setting a follow-up call. You have to set a follow-up something if you're going to touch base with that prospect. It can't just be, okay, yeah, we'll be in touch. No. So look, hey, John, I know you're very rushed right now. I am calendar based. What time next week works better for us for me to give you a call back? Would something like Monday or Tuesday work better for you? Set a follow-up call, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this. I did not have much time. Elizabeth, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you guys for listening. If you guys want, this is a brand new, I've never put this on my social media. Only my students have this. I'm going to give it to you guys today for free. It is a 65-page playbook, okay? Where I go over all the lines, every objection handler from do you have a, how much commission do you charge? How much should I list it for? I have a family friend or realtor. I don't want to work with you. All these objections are in here that can be yours for free. All you guys got to do is put your information, and then you're going to get an email, guys, giving you guys free access to my school community. I don't know if you guys are familiar with school, but I have more training videos, more scripts, more documents, and I do one free call every week with you guys. So I'd be more than happy to have you guys inside and keep connecting with you guys. I'll leave this up here for a second. If you guys can see that, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in our workplace group as well. So
Yeah, I'll send you, Rich, can you send me the link real quick? So I'll text you the link, Elizabeth. And you
Okay,
can
cool.
post it there. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, we have time, Elizabeth, or we have to go?
Yeah, we drop off about now, but if anybody has a quick question for Alexis, this is awesome. And I mean, for me, that when you say cold call, like I cringe in general, my personality and the way you approached it and unpacked it. I mean, I was getting so many different nuggets going, oh, I can make this sound like me and this would work for me. So I love what you shared. Alexis, your energy is always infectious anyway. And so I was really excited for you to come and share. So who has a quick question for him? Or if not, you can always reach out to him because he's at EXP and that's why we have workplace and our company is the way it is. Sean, you have your hand up.
Yeah, Alexis. So when you schedule the appointment on the two-way call to say you're talking to them on Monday, so you're purposely scheduling them, saying you're going to be in the area showing homes Wednesday or Thursday so that you can do follow-up calls between the appointment?
So that's a good question. If I'm understanding correctly, you're saying that I set it for at least a few days ahead of time, right?
That's correct, on purpose, just so that you can build more rapport.
Right. My time frame, depending on how motivated they are, Sean, is anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. I don't want to go longer than 72. I don't want to be shorter than 24. Because then my status goes down. If I say, hey, look, yeah, I can go over right now, my status goes down. Hey, look, John, I have a full day ahead of me right now. The earliest time that I can meet is tomorrow after 5. Would something like 6 or 7 work better for you guys? You want to build status with these people. You want to make sure even if you're a brand new agent with no deals in the pipeline, they have to start creating an image of you mentally, of who you are and how capable you are of selling their home for more money. So no shorter than 24 hours, no longer than 72 hours if possible. Because anything longer than that, either they're going to list it, they're going to meet with someone else, is going to take the listing, or they're going to forget about you.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else, guys? I don't know if you guys got to shut this call off, but I'm cool with what systems do I use? I'm going to start using Redx, guys. I used to use Mojo, but I'm transferring over to Redx. I use PropStream, and I use Follow Up Boss for my CRM.
Amazing. Alexis, you're a rock star. I appreciate you, friend, for coming in and just pouring into everybody in free. That's the beauty of this company, y'all. We're just all helping each other build and grow. So reach out to Alexis. He doesn't need any more friends on Instagram, by the way, but if you're not following him, make sure you follow him and about 100,000 of his other friends. But he adds so much value, script training all the time on his channel. So make sure you follow him, engage with him. And just we're going to be better because of it. So
yeah, I appreciate you, Elizabeth. I'll drop my Instagram handle here for you guys. It's just my full name, Alexis Valladares. Yeah, I would love to see you guys inside the free community. I drop insane value, and again, my goal is to just help you guys close more deals. So I appreciate you guys listening, and thank you so much for having me, Elizabeth.
thanks, my friend. You guys have an amazing Friday. We'll see you soon.